Alright, friends. I got another story from my childhood, and it's about a book where a man digs himself a hole so deep that he dies in it. Baby. This is Koi. She's loud. I knew what the book was called, and I knew what the main character's name was. I could see the pictures in my mind. They were fuzzy, except for one in particular that was solid. It was engraved. Defines who I am. And it got darker and darker because I couldn't find anything online that could prove to me that this book actually existed. And so it became this thing where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to every used bookstore across the nation. I am going to search to the very ends of the earth to find the thing that will make me complete as a person. And then my girlfriend bought it for me for my birthday. So Shelby's pretty smart, and she went to Reddit, and she posted, hey, I know about this book, and I can't find it. And they found it. So we were indeed able to buy The Practical Man. This was written in 1968. I feel like you should have known better by then. And for the record, this is a kid's book. This was in a junior high school library at one point. It's been lived a good amount. Ooh, it's pieces of history right here. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Herpel was a practical man, and being a practical man, he never did anything without first asking him, why? 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 In fact, he was so practical he questioned everything. Everything he thought, everything he felt, everything he heard, everything he read, everything he saw. Everything. God, if this doesn't sound like anxiety, I don't know. Do the books we read as kids just define us for the whole rest of our lives? Because goddamn. But when Herpel asked himself, why? You can be sure he had a practical answer. Also, gotta make some comments about this first page. There is no pictures whatsoever. And this book is dedicated to Alfred A. Rosen, as clear as a bell. What? Oh, finally, we got some pictures. Herpel, why fix the leak in the roof when you can move the bathtub under it? Herpel, why mess up the bed when you can sleep on the floor? Right off the bat, we're establishing Herpel as a character. What on earth are kids supposed to take from this? This is a goddamn children's book. I swear to God. The bathtub makes sense. It's like, okay, not gonna fix the actual problem, it's a little temporary solution. But like, why sleep in the bed when you can sleep on the floor? So you don't mess up the bed? Dude, you're gonna mess up the floor. One day, drinking his coffee from the pot, Herpel heard a knock at the door. Why is someone knocking at my door? Herpel asked himself. I wasn't expecting anyone, he thought, placing the coffee pot back onto the stove. Perhaps if I pretend I'm not here, whoever it is there will go away. My morning coffee ruined by a knock at the door, cried Herpel, jumping to the knothole he had gouged in his door. Why put a knothole in the door when you can just pretend the door doesn't exist? Pretend like you're not home. But when he peered through the knothole, he couldn't see a soul. So he pressed his eye deeper into the knothole. He rolled his eyeball left, right, up, down, and then he saw it. An old wooden trunk standing on his doorstep. Why, there's a trunk outside my door, Herpel cried, backing away from the knothole. There must be some mistake. Cautiously opening the door crack, Herpel saw a tag on the trunk. Why, it's for me, he cried, rushing to the trunk. That's my name, he crooned, spelling backward. Elprih. That's me, clear as a bell. Just like Alfred A. Rosen. Herpel stared at the trunk. Then, crouching beside it, he tried to peek inside. Why, I can't see a thing. Straining his ear against the side of the trunk, he tried to catch a sound. Why, I can't hear a thing. Pushing his nose flat against the lid of the trunk, he sniffed like a dog. Why, I can't smell a thing. Herpel was never so bewildered in all of his life. Jumping to his feet, Herpel kicked the trunk, Why did this happen to me? He shouted. Why did I get a trunk when I'll just have to get rid of it? I am at such a loss for words. I thought it'd be great to grab this book and read it live and have live reactions, but how do you even open the goddamn trunk, Herpel? So Herpel ran for his axe to chop the trunk to pieces. He chopped and he chopped, but not even a scratch. Furiously, he raised the axe high in the air and brought it down with all his might, but the axe handle broke in his hand. Open the trunk, Herpel! I hate to spoil this for you guys, but he never opens the trunk. I can't smell anything, I can't hear anything, I can't see anything from the outside of the box. Like, he's put forth all that effort, but the effort of opening the trunk is not an option. Sweat running into his eyes, he ran for his saw to saw it in half, but the saw blade snapped. He ran for his sledgehammer and tried to smash it, but the sledgehammer split like a straw. Herpel collapsed over the trunk. Why? He wailed. I can't chop it to pieces. I can't saw it in half. I can't smash it. Herpel, why don't you bury it and be rid of it once and for all and for good? That's what I'll do, cried Herpel. I'll bury it. But don't you have to measure it first? A waste of time, proclaimed Herpel. It's only a hole to bury a trunk. So he ran for his shovel and began to dig a hole to bury the trunk. He's very happy about it. It was very cute. Look at that boy. Herpel dug and dug, but when he tried to squeeze the trunk into the hole, he saw it was too big for the hole. Why, it's bigger than I thought, squealed Herpel, and jumped back down into the hole and began digging a bigger hole. Has this been, translated from another language? It's not well written. Also, you can't even tell the relative size of anything in this world because Herpel's such a small person. Herpel dug and dug and dug until he dug a longer hole, a wider hole, and a deeper hole. Throwing up his shovel, he lifted himself out of the hole, but to his utter astonishment, he saw the trunk was still too big for the hole. Impossible! Screeched Herpel. Trembling, he lowered himself back down into the hole. Herpel dug and dug and dug. He dug the hole longer and longer and longer, wider and wider and wider, deeper and deeper, and deeper. This is stressing me out. I was joking about how this is anxiety inducing, but dude, his fingers barely reaching the top. Herpel struggling to raise himself up. With only his head sticking out of the hole, his legs dangling under him, Herpel saw the trunk. It stood towering, high above him. No, he sobbed. I've never made a mistake. This page gets me every time. This is the one that was burned into my memory. This is the one that I would never forget in a million years. Dropping into the hole, Herpel dug the longest hole, the widest hole, the deepest hole, the girthiest hole. He could dig until the hole was so long, so wide, so deep, Herpel couldn't reach the top. Staring up at the sky from the bottom of the hole, Herpel, the practical man, asked himself, "Why, Herpel? Why?" And that's the end of the book. It ends with him staring up at the sky, questioning where it all went wrong. The book ends with him in the hole. You don't see his corpse, but can you see the way that a child's mind can easily make that little jump over into the realm of, oh, hey, you remember that panel before where you could see the desperation in his eyes as he just barely could reach the top to look at the trunk that was now towering over him? Well, now he's dug that hole 1,000,000 times deeper, and that's the end of the story. How do you think it ended, kid? Thank you, Alfred A. Rosen. This was indeed clear as a bell. Hey, friend. There's something serious I need to discuss with you. I really need you to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment down below of what you thought of this video. Maybe even a like on the video. I know you've heard this a million times. Maybe you want to smash that bell. But all I'm really saying is, we're a small channel here. And if you enjoyed this, it would mean so much to me. May you have a wonderful life ahead of you. I don't know why I'm doing this bit.